Welcome back. So I want to talk about mainstream optometry and the changing attitudes, our changing attitudes, my changing attitudes, the need maybe for changing attitudes vis-a-vis endmyopia and generally reversing myopia, stopping myopia progression, and the goals of retail optometry. And to go back a little ways, if you read Endmyopia and you read the blog and you've read a lot of the older parts of the blog, especially, I had a super negative attitude about retail optometry. And a lot of that came from my own experience when I was working to improve my eyesight. There was a lot of arrogance and there was a lot of dismissiveness and there was a lot of unwillingness to give me the lenses that I wanted, right? And all glasses are clear, curved pieces of plastic that change refractive state. They're way less complicated, they're way less risky or invasive than a lot of over-the-counter medication that you can buy in most countries. So I was always really upset at the fact that they basically monopolized the sales of clear, curved pieces of plastic, and on top of it, wouldn't allow me to buy the things that I wanted. And they would go so far as not to tell me in the exam what strength, what degrees of diopters that we're using, you know, when they do the eye chart test and they switch out the lenses in front of you, but they don't actually tell you what they're switching out. And when I would insist on knowing what they're doing, they just wouldn't tell me. So that really rubbed me the wrong way, because why, you know, I'm the customer, I'm paying for this exam, I want to know what you're doing. And a lot of times I just wouldn't get that at all. And what I realized over the years is that they're running a business and they're taught a certain way and they're doing as they're taught, right? Like there's a thing called seat time, for example, where they have exact numbers of how long somebody's supposed to spend in that seat getting that test before they're being sold something, right? So they're running a business, and they're running a business just like a oil change car shop or somebody selling stuff on eBay. Like they have a program and that's how they do it. And when you're trying to interfere with that program, they may get frustrated. So it's not really their fault. Like I was coming at it from the wrong, from a different side than what their business is set up to do. So my bad, right? In so many ways. Like when you go to the optometrist, you can't expect them to change their program because you have a different goal than they do, and that most of the customers do. Like most of the customers just come in there, they want their vision corrected, they don't want to know, most customers don't want to know the why and how, they just want, bam, glasses done, good, right? So there's a common goal between the optometrist and the people receiving that so-called treatment. Now, I used to really kind of be hard on them, because what I felt is they're doing us a disservice, increasing our myopia, as clinical science clearly shows, doing the wrong thing. But turns out maybe I was wrong. The second thing is, there used to be a fair amount of pushback against endmyopia when we were still small, right? Like I would get a fair amount of crappy emails from optometrists and opticians and ophthalmologists saying mean things to me and commenting mean things on various social media bits. Now, that stopped, curiously. And I actually just posted a thingy on Instagram. We get about 100,000, or very close to 100,000 sessions. No, 130,000 was the last 30 days. Close to 100,000 visitors a month to endmyopia.org. So we're a different animal now than we were back when they were making fun of us. And we're kind of the big dog in this space of alternatives to optometry. So now it's a whole totally different picture for one individual to go against us, because there's a whole lot of us and only one of them. So that stopped. I mean, literally, I haven't had a shitty email from somebody in the field in maybe a year. I mean, it seems like a long time. And I actually had a lot of positive interactions, a notable amount of positive interactions from opticians and optometrists who are asking questions like, hey, how can I incorporate this in my practice? How does this make sense? We have paid members in back to 2020 that are optometrists, and ophthalmologists too, I think, actually, which is pretty amazing if you think about it. Like they're coming and they're literally spending money paying for better answers. So that whole thing has changed, and that's kind of changing my attitude to a large degree, because there's less aggression and negativity and more positiveness. So that's making me more boringly positive also. And that's kind of the point of this video. there is a lot to be gained from retail optometry and what we're doing, because mainly, here's the big problem for retail optometry. It is going to get wiped out. It's going to get wiped out. The online lens sellers are getting huge. Just wait till Amazon gets in the game. Like a good app that measures your eyesight, there's already a bunch out there. Simple, cheap tools that you can plug into your smartphone that sort of measures your myopia close enough, like as close as an optometrist will measure it. They already exist, they're already cheap, they're already being sold, they're already on the market. They're fine, right? And online lens sellers are using these apps and tools for you to measure your own eyesight at home and buy glasses, right? And you can bet that the big players like Amazon and Alibaba are watching the space, and when they feel that the profit margin's high enough and the customer base is there, they're gonna come in and that'll be the end. It'll be like taxis, you know, when Uber and Grab came around. It'll be like what's happening to hotels since Airbnb existed. Like, it is going to hurt retail optometry very significantly when you can get it cheaper, faster, and easier online. And now there's all these apps. I downloaded an app that like scans your face and you can try on glasses on your phone. Like, the stuff is pretty slick at this point. So you can measure your myopia on the phone, you can check out glasses on your phone, and then you can pay $20, $30 for a pair of glasses instead of $200, $300 at your regular retail local optometrist. Like, this is immediately coming. Like, if I was in retail optometry, I would be extremely worried. So that's a huge risk. So the only way to counter this that I can think of, and I love business and I'm involved in a lot of businesses, is you gotta competitively differentiate yourself from the online sellers. You can no longer just do eye exams and sell glasses. You can do it in 2018, 19, but you're not gonna be able to do this in 2 or 3 years. You're gonna be in trouble, right? That market is gonna be shrinking significantly. So you gotta differentiate yourself. You gotta add services. And if you think about what Endmyopia does is, we advocate lower correction for close-up. So when you're in front of a computer, you don't need the correction for distance, and the correction for distance is causing hyperopic defocus, which may be causing progressive myopia. So it's not good for you to wear distance glasses during close-up time. And once you stop wearing distance glasses for your close-up time, you reduce the diopters for close-up. And after a couple months, if you stop doing so, if you go back to using your distance glasses for everything, you'll get headaches. You won't feel well because you reestablished that strain awareness that anyone who watches this channel regularly, you already know all this. So that's more lens sales, right? And that's the kind of thing that the online business is not going to catch up on for, hopefully, or not hopefully, but hopefully for a retail lens seller for a long time. So now you have that opportunity to say, okay, maybe you don't need -5 diopters for close-up when that's your distance correction. Maybe, you know, -3, 3.5 will do, just for example. So if you're now investing a little bit more time into that customer relationship, if you're looking for customers more specifically that are, sun's coming out, my face is getting whiter. If you're looking for the type of customer that is more interested in well-being and prevention and not myopia progression, then you might gain customer relationships that are more specific to your business, that are more lasting, and they're selling more glasses, right? Because now you're selling 2 pairs instead of 1, you're selling close-up and distance, right? And if that person is actively engaged in improving their eyesight, they're buying new glasses every 3 to 4 months at the very least. Initially, maybe more often. Right? So maybe you got to make them better deals. You don't have to go to online type pricing, but you're going to have to, you add in the quality of your service and the uniqueness of what you're offering, right? So you can charge more than an online seller. You may not be able to charge like crazy retail prices to people who buy glasses from you every 3 to 4 months, that buy glasses 2 pairs every 3 to 4 months, reducing the myopia. And ultimately, you don't even lose that customer. I apologize about the changing light, it's just the background. So you can also, so every 3 to 4 months your customer may be buying 2 new pairs of glasses. Eventually, when they reduce the myopia to the point where they don't necessarily need glasses, they still buy sunglasses. They may get into plus lenses. It's kind of a, you know, thing for some people. They have kids, they have friends. You, as if you run a local optic shop, are not going to run out of business helping people get out of myopia or lower their myopia or stop their myopia progression, right? Like your biggest challenge in the short term is going to be the licensing boards are not going to like it. The licensing boards are not going to like, you probably can't advertise myopia reduction, right? Because as far as the retail mainstream is concerned, that's not possible as long as there's not a patented sellable product involved. And just as a side note, I have documentation from huge lens manufacturers giving sales presentation where they specifically reference clinical studies that show that myopia is reversible. So they know, right? But it hasn't made it to that end level of the local optometry board. So if your fellow local optic shops complain that you're promoting this type of thing, then you could get in trouble depending on where you are. So that's still a tricky thing as you're in business today. But if you plan to stay in local retail optometry, you have to look at the rapidly changing landscape, and you have to look at how can I incorporate service into my business, and how can I offset a lower customer volume and more time spent per customer with more sales. And I think Endmyopia is the perfect answer for that, because you're selling twice as many pairs of glasses in one sitting, right? And you get a repeat customer that doesn't come in once every year, every 2 years, but that comes in every 3 to 4 months. So that's a significant relationship, right? In my opinion, if I was in retail optometry right now, I would be very seriously headed in that direction. I would be looking at how much of this can I get away with as far as the local optometry board is concerned to help the customers and stay in business. Just a thought, right? And I'm going to try to be more positive with retail optometry comments in the blog and such. And if you're in retail optometry, you can contact me. There's various other optometrists that are kind of playing in this direction carefully, that are staying under the radar, but that are looking at this kind of being the next direction to be able to stay in business, right? And it helps people. People are happy. Like people, again, our site is huge. People always asking me, do you know a local optometrist who will help me with this? People don't want to go buy test lens kits. Like people would like a local optometrist to help them with these measurements, to have these tools available and to make them glasses that they like. Like people don't really want to buy online. People don't want to buy a shitty test lens kit that's $100 and crap, and buy glasses online is not anybody's first choice. It's because right now the local optometrist has a 500% markup, right, and is unwilling to work with the customer. So I think there's a huge opportunity there for people that are able to think outside the box and are willing to work around the challenge that this is kind of a new emerging field, while the existing field is about to get bulldozed by the internet and Amazon and Alibaba. So that's my recommendation. Like if you're in optometry, and especially if you have myopia, start reading the blog. Start looking at, is myopia reversal possible? Start looking at, is this dude crazy, or is all the clinical science that we point to and all the hundreds and thousands of improvement reports, are we onto something, right? Like survival right now, like if you're in retail optometry right now, you are a taxi driver and not Airbnb, but Uber and Grab and whoever else is arriving, right? Like you're a small hotel owner and Airbnb is here. Like this is where you're at today, and you're still sort of around today, but you won't be around tomorrow if you don't add something to your business model that's not replicated by the online business. Those are my words. I don't care either way, because Endmyopia is fine and growing and huge, and it's not a revenue stream that matters to me. A lot of people care about this stuff. We'll be fine if you're a retail optometry. I hope you'll be fine too. Check it out. That's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.
Meow, 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 meow.